Hi guys, it's Andy from mcfcfantv. Today we're going to talk about Raheem Sterling and the latest round of negotiations, let's call them, with regards to his contract. Now, as it stands at the moment, Raheem Sterling is on £175,000 per week, according to the Times today. Now, what he's looking for, according to the Times, is an increase of £100,000 per week. Now, some might say, wow, that's a lot of money. But as we've seen over the last certainly couple of years, City are heavily incentivising the pay structure of their current stars. We saw the likes of Kevin De Bruyne sign his extended contract, and he's reported to be on £280,000 per week. But then when they add the image rights and all the other add-ons, that turns out around about £342,000 per week, which it's a lot of money, but nothing compared to what some of the other Premier League players are on. So what I'd like to do is just show you and give you an example of where Raheem Sterling sits within Premier League players' salaries, weekly wage. This is just weekly wage. This is not add-ons and things like that. So have a look at this particular image. So here, what you're able to see is we've got at the top there Alexis Sanchez of United, weekly wage of £350,000 per week. Now that, if you believe it, is anywhere up to about £550,000 per week with all the add-ons. Harry Kane is on £300,000 per week. Mesut Ozil on £300,000. Paul Pogba on £290,000 weekly wage. We then got Kevin De Bruyne on £280,000. Romelu Lukaku on £250,000. We've got Sergio Aguero with his contract that he signed last year on £220,000 per week. Mo Salah on £200,000. David De Gea on £200,000. Eden Hazard on £200,000. So is Riyad Mahrez, who we've just signed, on £200,000 per week. We then got Virgil van Dijk on £180,000, Aubameyang on £180,000, and there you can see in 14th is Raheem Sterling on £175,000 a week. Now, if you think that the amount of goals and assists and where Raheem Sterling fits in, not only in Manchester City but into the Premier League players, he's only 23, so he's still got, his future is ahead of him, his best years potentially are ahead of him. So for him to ask for another £100,000 per week, I don't think is unreasonable. Now, clearly I think City are quite aware, let's call it, rather than concerned, obviously, about financial fair play and the fact that they want to make sure that everything is done properly and above board. So rightly, they're wary of how much that they can pay each particular player. However, I do believe, in my own personal opinion, that Raheem Sterling is definitely worth that £100,000 a week extra, which will take him into the bracket of around £275,000, which will be close to Romelu Lukaku and Kevin De Bruyne. Now, I believe in the Times it's saying that that £100,000 a week potentially will include all of the add-ons in there. So it won't be £275,000 per week, plus then add-ons, image rights, etc., which will take him over the £300,000 per week. That will include everything. So I think personally that's a fair deal for somebody who performed absolutely incredibly last season. And let's face it, if the likes of Riyad Mahrez is on £200,000 per week basic wage, then personally I believe that Raheem Sterling should be above that. I think it's only right, and I think it's only fair. And I'm sure, Raheem Sterling has said it's absolutely settled at Manchester City. He doesn't want to go anywhere. It's just going to be one of those negotiations that will be thrashed out with his agent at Manchester City. Sometimes these things can happen quietly and are done very quickly. Other times they just take a little bit longer. So I'm sure it will happen. I cannot believe that with his contract running out in 2020, that City will sit on this for another 6 months or get anywhere near next year or next summer. I think this will be resolved one way or the other, and I believe Raheem Sterling will sign an extended contract, and if City pay him the extra £100,000 a week, which will include image rights, etc., I think he's definitely worth it. Anyway, guys, give us your comments below. What do you think? Do you think Raheem is worth £275,000 per week? If you believe what the Times have reported this morning, and give us your comments below. What do you think? So anyway, guys, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, click notification. This is Andy from Man City Fan TV, and we'll see you soon.